Hey, welcome back to this channel, ARMY. If you're watching this video right now, chances are you've already heard track number 11 from the Ararang album, the one with a title that gives you chills the moment you read it. They don't know about us. And if you've heard it, you already know why this song exploded and left armies all around the world absolutely unable to stop crying. But today, we're not just here to talk about the song itself. Today, we're diving deep into the big secret behind it, the making process, the hidden stories, and why Jimin, yes, our Park Jimin, has described this song as one of the most honest and personal pieces of work he has ever created alongside BTS. So don't go anywhere. Grab your tissues and turn your volume all the way up, because this video is about to make you fall even harder for BTS. Before we get into Jimin's big revelation, we need to take a step back. Because to truly understand why this song hits the way it does, you have to know the long, painful, and beautiful journey BTS went through just to be able to create it. Since 2022, BTS essentially disappeared from the group stage. One by one, the members completed their mandatory military service in South Korea. For nearly 4 years, ARMY lived their days without an official group comeback, just solo projects, the occasional live stream, and memories played on repeat. But then everything changed. On November 1st, 2025, during a social media live stream, Jimin confirmed that their new album had finished recording. With unmistakable excitement in his voice, he said, "Guys, we just finished recording. It can come out next spring. Seeing you today, I really feel like promoting our music." ARMY lost their minds. Twitter exploded, trending worldwide in minutes. On January 1st, 2026, BTS's entertainment company, Big Hit Music, announced the exact date of their comeback, March 20th, 2026. And the album name? On January 16th, 2026, BTS revealed the title of their upcoming album, Ararang. The announcement came through an official press release following weeks of teasers that had every fan on edge. Ararang is a traditional Korean folk song renowned both in Korea and around the world, the statement read. An album that transcends time and generations. A deeply meaningful choice of name. A symbol of resilience. A declaration that BTS was back, and this time, more mature than ever. Then on March 21st, 2026, all 7 members of BTS, Jin, V, RM, Jimin, Jungkook, Suga, and Jhope, performed together live at Seoul's Gwangwon Square for the first time since 2022, in front of more than 100,000 fans. 100,000 people. And that was just in the square itself. Millions more were watching from every corner of the world. And in the middle of all that glorious, historic comeback energy, there was one song, track 11 of the Ararang album, that quietly and completely stole every ARMY's heart. Among all the songs on the Ararang album, there was one track that immediately became the center of conversation everywhere the moment the album dropped. They Don't Know About Us. Just the title alone is enough to give you goosebumps. And the second you press play, you know instantly. This is not an ordinary song. Track 11 of Ararang has been described as the most honest song BTS has ever made about themselves. A hip-hop and trap genre track with a vintage sensibility that feels deeply authentic and completely personal. But what makes this song even more extraordinary is Jimin's direct involvement in creating it. Jimin participated as the lead composer and lyricist on this track. And the results were nothing short of incredible. The song debuted at number 56 on the US Billboard Hot 100, stayed on the chart for 2 consecutive weeks, and achieved global popularity by topping iTunes charts in 32 countries and territories around the world, including Mexico, Norway, and Brazil. 32 countries, ARMY. That is not a small number. That is proof that there is something deeply, powerfully real inside this song. Something that breaks through the barriers of language and culture and speaks directly to the human heart. Even RM, the leader of BTS, praised this song in a studio clip and referred to it as Jimin's baby. Jimin's baby. When RM, widely recognized as one of the most gifted lyricists BTS has ever had, calls a song someone's baby, you know there is something absolutely special living inside it. Billboard magazine praised Jimin's vocals in their Ararang album review, noting how his voice on the track was a standout moment and a testament to his growth as an artist. Then there was VJ Saad from the Canadian music station Much Music, who chose They Don't Know About Us as the very first song that stood out to her from the entire album. Musician Brown Tigger also praised Jimin's colorful vocal range and his evolution as an artist, calling it a trendy song that was completely his taste, and simply saying, "This is music." But the biggest question still remains: what is actually hidden behind this song? Okay, this is the part you've been waiting for. What does They Don't Know About Us actually mean? Who is the us being referred to? And what is the secret that the outside world has never been allowed to see? To understand this, we have to understand the bigger context of the Arirang album itself, and BTS's 4-year journey filled with silence, longing, and growth. After spending so long completing their military service separately, BTS headed straight to Los Angeles the moment they finished their duty to begin working on Arirang, their first studio album since B in 2020. And the process turned out to be far from easy. The Netflix documentary that captured the making of Arirang revealed that BTS sometimes felt like they were working like a factory. J-Hope's own words to describe their studio sessions, while Jimin admitted they were rushing because they had been away from each other for so long. Think about that for a second. 7 men who had been separated for nearly 4 years, suddenly sitting together again in a studio, creating music, rediscovering the rhythm of being together that had quietly slipped away. And that's exactly where They Don't Know About Us was born. This song is the quiet answer to every question that was never fully addressed, to every speculation about BTS's unity, to every doubt that floated around when the members were living their solo lives one by one. Jimin, as the lead songwriter, poured all of that into the lyrics and the melody. He wrote about the invisible bond, something only the 7 members of BTS and ARMY truly understand, something you simply cannot explain to an outsider no matter how hard you try. They don't know about us. They don't know about us. They don't know about the long nights in the studio. They don't know about the quiet messages exchanged between members during military service. They don't know about the longing Jimin felt when recording his solo music and wishing his bandmates' voices were right there beside him. In a behind-the-scenes video uploaded to YouTube, Jimin was captured expressing how deeply he missed the BTS members even while working on his own solo projects. That raw, emotional moment touched every single ARMY who watched it and brought many of them to tears. And now, in They Don't Know About Us, all of those feelings have finally found their most perfect form. And of course, ARMY could not stay quiet. The moment this song was released as part of the Arirang album, Twitter, or X, whatever you prefer to call it, absolutely detonated. Within hours, They Don't Know About Us was trending in dozens of countries simultaneously. Reaction videos poured in from every corner of the planet. In Korea, fans were crying in the streets while listening through their earphones. In Southeast Asia, Twitter timelines were flooded with long, emotional threads breaking down the meaning behind every single line of the lyrics. In the United States, ARMY reaction videos went viral within minutes of being posted. Comments like these were everywhere on YouTube. "I've loved BTS for 10 years, but this song, this is different. It feels like a love letter for everything we've been through together." Jimin doesn't need to explain anything. The song already explains everything. "I was crying from the very first second. I don't know why, but I just knew immediately this was something special." And this wasn't just the emotional reaction of fans being subjective. The facts spoke for themselves. The song debuted at number 56 on the Billboard Hot 100 and held its position for 2 straight weeks, an extraordinary achievement for an album track, not even a lead single from a K-pop group. But perhaps what was most moving of all was the way longtime ARMYs, those who had been following BTS since the very beginning of their career, reacted to this song. So many of them described it as a full circle moment, as if BTS was quietly summarizing their entire long journey, every joy and every hardship, and sealing it inside 3 to 4 minutes of music that would live forever. And you know what's the most magical thing of all? Jimin managed to create a song that feels personal to every single listener. Whether you've been an ARMY for a decade or you only discovered BTS a few months ago, They Don't Know About Us speaks directly into your heart, as if Jimin somehow knew exactly what you were feeling. That is the mark of a true artist. We can't talk about They Don't Know About Us without talking about who Park Jimin is as an artist, and how his solo journey prepared him to create something as powerful as this. Remember the album Face in 2023? That was Jimin's solo debut album, and he immediately proved himself to be far more than just a vocalist in BTS. He was a storyteller, an artist who poured his soul into every single note he sang. Then came Muse in 2024. Dog, the lead producer of Jimin's solo albums, spoke openly about Jimin's extraordinary dedication during the creative process. After finishing work on Face, they went straight into producing Muse. Dog shared his admiration, saying, "After finishing work on the Face album, we went straight into the production of Muse and I thought, he's working this hard before his military enlistment?" Thanks to Jimin's hard work, you'll be able to see his musical journey, which has grown even more. Think about what that means. Before going into the military, instead of resting, Jimin chose to keep creating. He wrote, he practiced, he experimented, he pushed himself further than anyone expected. And the result of all that growth? We can hear it directly in They Don't Know About Us. But there's another moment we need to remember, a moment that in many ways planted the seed for everything that followed. In February 2025, while Jimin was still completing his military service, he joined via phone call during J-Hope's Weverse live stream to celebrate his bandmate's birthday. During that conversation, he called out for Jungkook to join. The two of them had been living together in the same military dormitory, and both of them hinted at the existence of countless untold stories from their time serving together. Those stories eventually found their way into Arirang, the experience of living together. The bonds that grew stronger precisely because of the limitations they faced. The friendship tested by time and distance, and still standing stronger than ever. Jimin was even recognized as the top trainee during his military basic training and received a commendation directly from the division commander. Excellence in military service. Music that dominated international charts. Lyrics that touched millions of hearts. Park Jimin is not just an idol. He is a complete artist who never stops growing. And They Don't Know About Us is the most living, breathing proof of that. Before we close out this video, I want to talk about one more thing. They don't know about us. Who is the us being referred to? Most people would answer right away. Obviously, it's about the 7 members of BTS. About their friendship. About their shared journey. And that's true. But it's only part of the truth. Because if you listen to this song carefully, if you let the music really get inside you, if you read the lyrics line by line, you'll realize that us is so much bigger than that. Us is BTS and ARMY, a bond that cannot be explained to anyone on the outside. A connection that wasn't formed through 1 or 2 songs, but through years of supporting each other, strengthening each other, being there for each other even in the darkest of moments. In the message BTS left on Apple Music for the Arirang album, Jimin himself said, "And we prepared this album thinking of our fans. Every note, every word, created while thinking of us." When BTS was in Los Angeles, working in the studio until the early hours of the morning, when they were debating over exactly the right lyric, when they were listening to the same mix for the 100th time, they were thinking about ARMY. And maybe that's exactly why They Don't Know About Us feels so intimate, so warm, like a secret whispered between old friends who have been through more together than words can ever fully capture. People on the outside will never fully understand. They won't understand why a K-pop song can make someone in Jakarta, in Aceh, in Sao Paulo, in London, sob quietly alone in the middle of the night. But we understand, and that is more than enough. And that is the story behind one of the most unforgettable songs from BTS's new era, They Don't Know About Us. A song born from longing, from courage, from a love that has been tested by distance and time, and from the soul of Park Jimin, who has never once stopped pouring his most honest self into his music. If this video touched your heart, and I really believe it did, please leave a comment below. Tell me where you were when you first heard this song. Tell me what you felt. Because those stories are exactly what makes the ARMY community so incredibly beautiful. Don't forget to like this video so more people can find content like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we have so much more BTS content coming that you do not want to miss. And remember the one thing that matters most. They may not know about us, but we know, and that's everything. See you in the next video. Purple You ARMY. Purple Heart.